Okay, hello Organic Chemistry 2330. This is our Zoom office hours as we approach our final Zoom meeting, which will be held on Monday, May 4th. Okay, so as far as what is due this week, we of course have the videos for chapter 14, 15, and 16. I had a little technical difficulty after this rain for some reason. I was having a difficult time uploading. So chapter 16 is uploaded today. So go ahead and get that polymer chemistry stuff done and for the final. Our homework for chapter 14 and 50 is due today, Friday, May 1st, but chapter 16 homework is not due until Monday the 4th because I was delayed in trying to get all this and I didn't want you to have 3 homeworks in the same week. Today's quiz, Friday's quiz, is our last quiz. It's already in Dropbox. Go ahead and complete that and upload that as needed. So that will be closed out preferably by 5 unless you've made arrangements ahead of time. My grader should have everything graded by Monday. My goal is to have all of our homework grades up by Tuesday, all of our quiz grades up by Tuesday, and so all of our grades are going to be in except for the final. So if you have concerns about, you know, what your final grade are and what you should do for the final, go ahead and email me. I'll be happy to communicate with that with you. Speaking of our final is scheduled for May 8th. That's Wednesday, May 8th. And it's on our regularly scheduled finals time and day. I'm sorry, Friday, May 8th. It's from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Block out that time. Make sure that you have access to Sapling on the internet. You'll have 2.5 hours to complete it unless you have ODS time limited, then you'll have additional time available to you. It is 50 questions, multiple choice, focused on chapters 1 through 15. And so that will be our final exam. So it's going to be similar to what our midterm is, but there will be no drawing on Sapling because drawing on Sapling can be really troublesome sometimes. So it's going to be 50 questions, multiple choice only. So it'll be open book, open notes. So make sure you read the question a couple times because I might be asking for a subtle change or a subtle difference to make it something you have to think about. So go ahead and be prepared for that final on Friday, May 8th, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Okay, so I think that covers all our administration. I will have one more Zoom session on Monday. It is going to be, I will answer any questions over all 16 chapters, as well as review what I think you should do to prepare for your final exam. I'm going to briefly go over what I think you should do to prepare for the final exam to make it easier for you to do this kind of open book exam, but you only have a limited amount of time. So in general, I think you should get together a total of 4 sheets. Now, these sheets are something you build, so it's kind of like a table of contents for the way you think, okay? You need to have these 4 sheets prepared. You need to prepare them and then also annotate those things to show where they would be in the book to get additional information. Again, we're not writing a book here. We're writing down individual topics with individual page numbers and specificity on each individual thing. The first thing I think you should do is get a nomenclature. We have a whole bunch of different nomenclature, and I think the best place to start is back in our original chapter with our original 7 rules of nomenclature, and then go back to our carboxylic acids. Remember, our carboxylic acid has our highest priority. And in that chapter, it tells you what your priorities are for all of the other functional groups. Okay, so your nomenclature page should have all of our nomenclature rules, including benzene, and that should include carboxylic acids, aldehydes, ketones, amines, ethers, alkyl halides, alkenes, alkynes, etc. So If you have all that on a single page and then you have annotations for different little subtleties in your book, that'd be great. That's the first thing you should do. The second thing I think you should do is have a page on properties, okay? What I mean by that is in the early part of the semester, we talked about how different types of bonding had different types of changes on properties. For example, hydrogen bonding greatly affects the melting points and boiling points. Hydrogen, and then there's other things like van der Waals forces, dipole-dipole interactions. Look at how each of those things interact to change our boiling points and melting points. As well as things get larger, they tend to dissolve in water less. So we'll see that the more hydrogen bonding has, the more likely it is to bond in water, the less hydrogen bonding, the less likely it is. Okay, so that's the properties one. The third sheet I think you should have is bonding. What all of our hybridizations are. Okay, our sp2 hybridized, sp3 hybridized, sp hybridized, what the shapes are, how many electrons are in a sigma bond, how many electrons in a pi bond, those different just generalized bonding, what hydrogen bonding is, and what the requirements for those are. So those are the first three sheets, and the last sheet is all of our different reactions. Okay, I've shown this before, but it's basically, this is where we have our functional group transformation. For example, this is an alcohol to a carbonyl, what kind of reagent we would use, and what the specifications or complications are. For example, we can reduce primary and secondary alcohols down to aldehydes and ketones using PCC, but we can also use PCC to oxidize it down to just aldehydes. So that's where you would put it in your special notes about how that works. And go ahead and do that for all of the reactions, all the way from carboxylic acids and their derivatives, all the way down to the alkanes and alkenes, okay? And by building that sheet, you know which chapter they're in, where the reactions are, what the specificities of the reactions are. Include things like, this is an SN2 reaction, this is an E2 reaction, this is a strong base, this is, include little complications like that. That would really help with your studying for this exam. Again, you're building a table of contents for the whole semester. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and have this posted to my website so that everybody can have that review, and then we can answer any questions you might have on a separate recording. All right, let me stop recording.